It's the time when you sit down quietly and say, what do I really want? Do I want to be, whatever it is? Do I want to be an investment banker? Do I want to be a loan officer? Do I make a great cup of coffee that people would enjoy?
Yep.
Do I want to go work at a coffee place? Fine. If that's what makes you successful, if that's what makes you vibrate high and feel good, and you feel that that's how you're going to give back to the next person's story, go do that.
Yeah.
It's finding your purpose.
Yeah, you got to find your purpose.
It's digging within, asking those questions, putting yourself on the spot internally and saying, okay, what is it that I really want?
All right, guys, this was an awesome episode. It actually way exceeded my expectations. I knew I was going to enjoy the conversation, but it was even better than I thought. We had on Michael Santana, Will Molina, both real estate agents, dads, husbands, and super inspirational guys. We talked about some pretty deep philosophical stuff on this one. I loved our conversation, and I hope you guys do too. Enjoy the show.
The mic drop.
Subscribe to success.
All right, guys, super excited about this one. We've been waiting to do it for a while. My two buddies, Michael Santana, Will Molina.
Thank you
guys for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. It's
of course.
An honor.
I'm excited. Super excited.
Me too. For those guys out there that don't know Will and Michael, which I think everyone does, real estate professionals, fathers, husbands, podcasters, entrepreneurs, awesome guys, great people, family men. Good
wow,
guys.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, hey, you do
when
a
you
lot.
start thinking about it, right, you're like, oh man, I do a lot.
Yeah, not labels, just what you are, right? Yeah. So, thanks for coming on, guys. What we usually do on the show is we talk about, how people have become successful in whatever they do. And you guys have been in this real estate game for quite some time now, huh?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it, Mike?
Well, if I'm being honest, this is my 20th year.
Ooh. How's that possible? You're only 30.
Yeah, thanks.
How about you, Will? How long have you been doing it?
So I think I've been doing this since 2000.
Yeah, so about the same, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got into it, and I never looked back.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. It's an amazing experience to be able to serve others in a real estate capacity.
Yeah, it really is. What's pretty cool about it too, because I've been in the business almost as long. It was 2002 when I got in the mortgage business, and what we've been through over the last 20 years are like 100 different markets.
Absolutely.
Ups, downs, left, rights, and it's kind of cool. The guys that have weathered the storm and made it through it and can persevere and be tough, even through this COVID situation, the low inventory, and fought through. So it's pretty awesome. It's a testament to you guys and how hard you've worked and what you've done to grow your business. Pretty cool.
Well, it speaks for you as well. I mean, you've done amazing things. We see you grow as well, and we know what you serve, how you serve others, which is really key.
Yeah. I mean, and our focus here has always been about that. You know what I mean? Like doing the best job we can do for the clients, making it easy, making it good for the real estate agents we work with, the referral partners, the community, the employees, right? And then everything else comes after that. Whether you're talking about money or growth or success, if you just focus on doing the right shit every day and treating people well, good things happen.
Right.
That's true.
Actually, I see. And speaking of that, it's an honor to be here. We thank you that we're here.
Oh, thank you.
But we've seen the growth. Like I remember walking through this space with you when it was like probably 80% still wasn't finished.
Yeah.
But you had a vision.
Yep.
And that was the most important part, that you had that vision and you had that goal and you were able to get others to believe it. I believed you as you were walking me through, like, this is going to be this is going to be that. And even though we couldn't see it, in your mind, it was there. So that was enough to me.
It was already created in his mind. You already knew exactly how I was going to unveil. And it's really the beauty. I think a lot of people need to understand that regardless of what you think today, you start today, whatever that goal is, whatever that idea is, go with it. You went with an idea. When you started, you're like, I'm going to do this. And you did it. And I'm sure there was a lot of situations where you were like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you said to yourself, I know where I want to be. And you kept going.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, the way I've always approached things like that, and again, it's not that I've figured it all out. I just listen to people that have done it. You know what I mean? Whether it's books that I read, podcasts, other people that I know from the community. And it's like, you just decide what the end goal is going to be and just start taking steps towards that. Right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just start moving. Don't overanalyze it and think about it and plan it. Have a basic plan, but just start taking steps.
The steps is it's the most important part.
But you need to know what the end thing's going to be.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for those nice compliments.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
I mean, getting back to that, we always say, or at least I say in our podcast, that it's the baby steps. It's the simple steps that you take on a daily basis. Yeah, there's some days where you feel like you went back a little bit. It's okay. take the next step forward, eventually it'll all come together. How do you figure it out on the way there? No, you don't figure it out. You just allow it to happen.
Yeah.
But take those baby steps, because a lot of people can't take the quantum leap. But eventually, when they're doing it, they're like, you know what? I'm a lot forward than I thought I would be. And here I am.
No doubt. I mean, things don't happen overnight. You know what I mean? You have to be consistent. That's what I talk to all the guys here about. It's like, you got to be consistent. You got to get up every day and work hard. It doesn't just happen.
Right.
You know? And you got to stick with that process. Trust your own process, whatever it is, then the results will come.
Sure.
You know? And if you have like stumbling blocks, like you said, along the way, everybody does. You know what I mean? People that are successful in anything, they don't have, every day isn't easy with success every day. You're going to hit stumbling blocks and have to adjust and move forward. There's no failing. The only time you fail is if you quit.
Exactly. And if you don't have the failures show up, if you don't have the stumbling blocks, then you're not really building on anything. You're not gaining experience. You're not gaining wisdom. You're not learning anything, so you're not growing.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the process.
You're not pushing yourself hard enough if you're not failing every once in a while.
Right. Well, you're not taking the risks that you need to take.
Well, those are the lessons learned.
Yeah.
Right.
The failures are the lessons to guide you to the right place and say, you know what? It's okay. It's a lesson learned. You move forward. A lot of people, they take that and they kind of hunker down and say, you know what? I'm done with this. Understand the failures and eventually learn from them. And next thing you know, you're on the right track.
That's right. What are some challenges in quote unquote, not failures, because I don't even look at things as failures, but obstacles have you guys had along the way that you've had to get past?
One is public speaking for me. And to be on a camera is crazy. That's not something I never envisioned. For us, when we started the podcast, it was just an idea that came up. And I remember we kept kind of toying with it. And Michael and I, we'd talk about it. And then one day he was like, we're going to record today. And I'm like, what? And so it was
already.
It just happened, And so I think the challenges for me personally was just to understand that I have the capability. I just have to move forward with it. I just have to decide.
It's
you know what?
Taking that first step.
Yeah, I'm very surprised you say that about public speaking and being in front of the camera, because you're very, you know what I mean. You seem very.
You'd be surprised.
Easy to talk.
He's very good at it.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know. But
That's the word I use. I say I'm very excited because deep down inside there's things inside of you. Everyone who speaks publicly goes through that. And I've had a couple of mentors that I've talked to, and they just say to me, you know what, just do it.
Yeah.
Forget about what you sound like. Forget about what you look like. Just within you, whatever you want to say, just project it. And so it's helped me quite a bit, but it's always been a challenge. And so Michael's helped me out a lot to be able to say, hey, go ahead, say what you have to say. It's okay.
He's a natural.
Yeah.
You are, though. You are. Even when you
is.
talk to people, you're always very...
thank you.
And I've thought it for years. I mean, I've known you guys now probably for 10 years, right?
Sure.
No more.
Yeah, maybe more. But like, you've always been very welcoming and kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like people are kind of attracted to you, whatever the
Well, I am married to someone who's amazing.
Yeah.
Her name
Denise
is
is awesome.
Yeah. And so she's taught me that.
Yeah.
Because she's someone that walks into a room and she lights up the crowd.
Yeah.
And so I'm the guy next to her. I need to step up my game too. And like, I need to light up the crowd too. So it's really something, it's a combination of a lot of things, but biggest challenge was that, I wanted to be able to speak publicly. We don't know what this takes us to the next level, but certainly it's something that I've always tried to work on.
Yeah. What I think is great about that too is just being honest about it. I mean, hey, it's hard for me, but I got through it.
Yeah.
But
you keep going.
Yeah. How about you, Mike? What's a challenge you've come across?
There's always challenges. I can't pinpoint one, but I can be honest with you that life isn't perfect, and that's the thing that we want to tell everyone all the time. It's something that we've had to do even as broker owners of real estate companies that we've owned, and it's that taking that first step and thinking that it has to be perfect before you do it, right? Getting things just tightened up just right, and then they don't do anything.
Yep.
But then it's the risk factor, saying, you know what, I'm going to take the risk. Even if it looks challenging, even if it looks like I'm going to fall on my face, if I don't get myself out there, then nothing's ever going to happen. And we know that once we take that step, the strategies start to take place, right? The goals start to arrive. What do I really want? And all these plans start to show up. And then you're able to take another step and another step and another step. There's going to be challenges all the time. But at the same time, you just got to keep moving.
Yeah, no doubt. Things fall in place as you go. For me, and I mean, I'm kind of crazy, I know this, but it's true. It's true. My wife's like, you're nuts. I get bored if I don't have like a new challenge or a new risk almost, something to do to excite me. You know what I mean? And then I said to her probably like 3 months ago, before I started working on the Bedford office that we just opened this week.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're super pumped about that. Before that, I said to her, I'm like, I feel like I'm like doing nothing. I feel like very unproductive. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Well, if you follow Mike on social media, you're like, what? How much time does he have? What time is he doing all this stuff? But it's awesome.
But it's awesome to see that, though.
Yeah.
That's the energy. You're using it. It's there to be used.
I mean, I
you're
got
not
the same
shy.
24 hours. I want to use every fucking minute of that day.
Right.
You know, I really do. And it's funny because I heard something, it was a quote, I think, that I think either Beyonce or Jay-Z, or maybe the two of them together said it.
Okay.
You know, we've got the same 24 hours as everybody else. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of what you do with it.
Right.
Exactly.
You know? And so what I was saying was like,
But you're living a life with purpose.
yeah, you know what I mean?
And that's
I
really
just want
the
to
key.
do things, and I want to, and just like you, like with all your traveling, we were saying before we started, you know. And who are you kidding? Look at you and Denise on social media.
And so, you know what's funny? We like to show where we are. I think for people, there's sometimes like, I don't know where to go. And we've had people come up to us and say, hey, you went on this trip to someplace. You know, what was it like? And so we want to share that experience with them. We love what we do. We love serving others, but we also love travel.
Yeah.
And so that's our purpose. Our purpose is how do we serve and have a life fulfilled through travel. And so that's our key. I mean, sometimes it's tiring, but certainly, you know, you get a chance to do things and see places and have amazing foods and culture and music. And it's so fulfilling. So I always encourage people, if you have time, travel, because time is not something that you have all the time.
True, and you just get to it, like you said. I think the coolest part about it is experiencing other cultures and food and the people, and I love it too. I'm with you. You were just telling us before we started that you just went to Mexico City.
We did. So we went on a mini vacation to Cancun with some friends and family, and then my brother actually lives in Mexico City, and so I had an opportunity to go see him and his family and his two little girls.
Nice.
And so it was such a fun thing, a fun experience. He has two twins. They're beautiful, and it was good to be an uncle.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are those your only nieces?
No, I've got nieces everywhere.
Yeah,
we have a huge family. But since my brother's overseas or in another country, it's a challenge for us to get together. But certainly, it was an awesome time.
Yeah, we've never been to Mexico City, and you were saying it was great.
Food, culture, tons of restaurants, all types of cuisines. I was very surprised as far as the geographic of the city. It's surrounded by mountains, and it's really a valley. But these beautiful buildings. I mean, I had the opportunity to stay at a building that had a restaurant bar on the 38th floor, and you got to see the entire city 360, which is awesome. Was just amazing.
These guys are maniacs. I'm going to tell you right now.
Maniacs.
You know that he's saying that all calm, like this just happened, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like just the other day we were on the West Coast.
We were.
We were in LA, California. We took a ride up through the mountains of California, went through Death Valley, through the Mojave Desert, and drove to Vegas, right? So to me, I'm still tired from that. And this was the other day. Yeah. And then he's sitting there like, oh, yeah. And then I was in Mexico City, and I was in Cancun. It's like, I don't even know how they do it.
I see it all the time. And it's not even just the traveling. Like you guys, and it's the whole group of you, though. I mean, and you're there most of the time, too. I'm like, how you doing that?
In the bushes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think it was it Billy's birthday maybe like a month or two ago? Your brother Billy?
Yeah. Billy's right out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one night you guys were all out, and it was like a Tuesday night at like 11:30 or something. I'm like, I was looking at it like on my phone. I'm like, man. I'm like, I've been in bed since 9:15. I'm like, how are these guys doing this?
Well, what time do you usually wake up?
I get up pretty early.
Yeah.
I get up usually not super early anymore, but around 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock. For years, I got up like super early. But as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm just tired.
The sleep is better.
The sleeping's better.
Yeah, no,
I'm tired.
Well, you do a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot throughout the day. But I said to John Ollie the next morning, I'm like, how can you hang with these guys? And she's like, they're crazy. She goes, especially Will and Denise. She goes, Will and Denise are at everybody's birthday party, everybody's kid's birthday party, functions, family, they're running around doing real estate, traveling. I'm like,
we love to socialize.
Wow.
I mean, it's just fun to be around people.
Yeah. Well, the kids are older now, right?
The kids our girls are 26 and 24.
Right.
So they're doing their thing, and shout out to them because they're awesome, and they provide energy for me to do the things I like to do. And so, yeah, we have a little more time alone,
Yeah.
which is easy to just pick up and go.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
I could see when my kids are older, us doing more of that. You've still got young kids, very young kids.
Well, I started over.
Right.
So I had
Round two.
Yeah, round two. Fight. There's they're all over the spectrum.
So what are the ages of your kids?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
I think you need to say it.
So my oldest is 38.
That's impossible, Mike.
And my youngest is 6. She's 6. Yeah.
Woo!
And
And what's in between?
So there's 6, 9, 21, 28, 33, 36, and 38.
7?
7, yeah. Well, that's between all of it. All right, this is the story, so you guys don't think that I'm all over the place. I'm married to Venetia, who's like a fireball. She's just like you, by the way. You guys can have a long conversation on don't let these people get bored.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's just constantly like thinking and thinking and creating and creating. So, and if you let her loose, she'd be all over the planet, which she plans on being.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we got married. I had 3 boys.
Yep.
Yeah, they were young at the time, and then she had 2 children, which I helped to raise.
Yep.
And then at one point she says we should have our own children. So, and I said, what are we going to do with these kids? We're so busy. We're always creating. We're always doing stuff.
What are we going to do?
How are we
with
going to travel? And she's like, well, we'll just put them in backpacks and then we'll just travel the world. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I wasn't really convinced. But yeah, it didn't really turn out that way. We do bring them everywhere we go. And that's how we ended up with, having Brandon. And she decided that Brandon wasn't enough, that Brandon needed a sibling in case when we travel, he's with someone.
Right.
And that's how we ended up with Michaela.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's 6, yeah.
That's awesome. Nothing better than kids, though, right?
A lot of fun. Well, when we travel together, the kids are there, and so we always have a good time with them.
Yep.
And they, the energy that the kids have and the conversations are just so much fun.
Yeah, it must be great for you guys with adult children, too. Like, my oldest is finally getting, he's 16 and a half, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's like he's finally like, oh, wow, like we can hang and have like real conversation. He's getting older and like we have fun together. So it sounds like he's like my buddy, which is pretty cool. So as they get older, it must be even more fun to spend time with them too.
Well, one of Michael's sons is our producer for our show.
Yep.
And so he does all
I met him. He came in one time. Remember?
I think you've met him.
It might have been David.
Might have been David.
Yeah,
David. It was David.
Yeah. Mikey's the
they call him short fuse.
Short fuse. He's the engineer of our show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Why awesome. Short fuse?
You can guess why.
Yeah. That's what I assumed. I just didn't know.
He's cool. But when he got the name at the time, he was more of a short fuse.
Okay.
But he stuck with it.
Yeah. Hey, good.
It works. It works for him.
It works for him because that's him. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your podcast. Tell everyone about it. What's it all about? The vibe you're in.
The vibe you're in. Well, the way it started was, first of all, we started getting together about 5 years ago for what we call the focus group.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yep, I do.
And at the time, it was just talking to our agents about getting the productivity up, but really talking about just life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because it's personal life and business, but it's a thin line. It's mindset. If you fix your mindset, you're going to fix both personal and business. So we would gather a group up and talk about success principles, and we choose one. We talk about a topic and build on that, and just open their minds to that anyone can do. Like this. So let's put it this way: you have agents that are sitting in an office going, "I wonder how they became a top producer. I'll never do that." So we got them to stop thinking that way, because whatever you can do, I can do. Okay. Whatever I can do, you can do.
Yep.
And that's the way it works. So we just kept building on that focus group. And after about 4 years, we kept saying the whole time, hey, let's start a podcast. And we just wouldn't do it. So to show you that these principles of success really work, one of them is using your imagination, right? Building ideas and getting into the ideas and making them come to fruition, right? So what I did was I created videos right on my phone. I put them on Facebook and I said, hey, next month, coming soon, our podcast. We didn't have equipment. We didn't have
anything. You just said it's coming?
We didn't have it. We just said it's coming soon.
I saw the video. I was like...
With his name on it.
And you didn't even
know.
My
name on it. I'm like, what?
I was like...
What's he doing?
Right.
Yeah, coming soon, Michael Santana and Will Molina. What are you doing? I said, no, this is it. We're going to do it. Now we have to do it.
Well, then you're saying, you know what? I'm committing to this.
Right, which is the first step, right? A committed decision.
Mm-hmm.
The committed decision opened the door. All of a sudden, we had to get equipment. We had to sit down. We had to just open up and do the first episode. And I think after that,
we didn't have equipment.
We didn't have anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, we're doing the podcast."
So basically,
this month, I was like,
yeah, and it basically was taking the focus group, and it's our way of giving back.
Yep.
Because during the focus group, it turned from just our agents to attorneys were showing up, and insurance agents and loan officers were showing up. And then they were like, well, can I bring my sister? She can really use this. And I'm like, well, it's not a church.
Right? It's not a church.
We're not trying to start a church, but we're trying to get people that are in business that find it hard to do business to understand that it's not that hard.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They have it all in them. Stop looking outside yourself for answers. Look within yourself, and you're going to be able to make it happen.
Yeah. It's funny. That was the premise behind this when we started, because the tagline was connecting community to success.
Okay.
Right? So same idea. I wanted everybody out there, not just people in our business, in our space, anybody to see what's possible, because every single person that we've had on the show here that has been successful has done it pretty much from nothing, and I want everybody, just like you guys are saying, everybody to know that you can do that, and I think sometimes by comparing yourself to the people that are doing the absolute best, right? And that's what I've always done. It makes you see that you can do it. Anybody can do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to compare myself to, the loan officer that's sitting over at a bank on the corner, not doing a whole lot, and I'm doing a lot more than that person, right? Because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fucking great. No way. I'm going to compare myself to, I know the kid down in Massachusetts, Sean Panosian, who's the number one loan officer in the country. I'm going to compare myself to him. You know what I mean? That way there I can always push and do more and grow, Well,
there's always an opportunity to be enlightened by someone else's successes.
Yes.
And so certainly, Mike has mentioned this a few times, your success is based on the 5 people that you meet or associate with.
Sure.
And so certainly we're inspired by many people, particularly in the podcast field, where there's podcasts that we listen to and I listen to that it's inspiring what they're saying, their meaning, their truth. And so that helps us out to be able to share that with our audience. But back to where it all started, it really, everything fell into place. Once Michael took that quantum leap and said, we're doing a podcast, I'm there sitting saying, and I'm telling Denise, Michael just put that we're doing a podcast. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, we're doing a podcast. My name's on that. And so, everything fell into place. The equipment was purchased. Everything, we didn't even, when we started, we had a feeling of a song, and then we never spoke about, because we have a song that starts the show, and it's from a band that we enjoy, but we never spoke about that song. Yet we both agree that it's one of our favorite songs. And so that started happening. It's almost like things fall into place when you just keep going forward.
Yep.
And so that's where we are today.
Just keep taking steps, right?
Right.
So who have you had on the podcast? What's some of the topics? Just I want to get people to subscribe to it and listen. And
so we've had a couple of people locally, a lot of good people that are successful, that are business minded. We had our good friend Evan Silverio. He owns Silverio Insurance. We had a personal coach, sort of a health coach that we associate with. We've had a slew of people, realtors,
just like
local
you,
realtors, just like you.
Same premise, bringing people that are like super successful. How did you do it? What keeps you going? And they all have the same thing, that they've had struggles, they've had failures, and they kept going. And some of them were like, like one of them was Betty. That remember she was told she'd never walk again, and imagine that she's out there right now going a mile a minute
and running and doing everything else.
Yeah. So these are all the success stories that that we build on. Just like your podcast, it's the same thing. It's inspiring for someone else that's out there that needs to hear it.
And isn't it fun talking to all these people that have done so well and gotten over struggles? It's like it makes you appreciate life too.
Some of the stories are amazing, and you wonder, wow, really?
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you look at them and you're like, man, they went above and beyond, but they really had something in mind, whatever it was, whatever they're doing today. They had it in them, and they say, I'm going to move forward regardless of what I'm listening to, all the noise that's around me. They move forward. Betty's a good example.
Yeah, that's great. What I think is kind of cool about it is all these people that have been really successful, like when we have these conversations, they all share like the same basic principles. It's usually determination. Nothing's going to stop them. You know what I mean? They're willing to get up and put in the work every day. You know, they don't quit. Like failures it's not even a thing. You know, and you can tell that to so many people that just don't believe it. You know what I mean? Then it's like, look at these guys. You know what I mean? Look at all these people that, you know, like we had Noelle Lambert on, the Paralympian. I don't know if you saw that. She lost her leg in an accident. She was a D1 lacrosse player at UMass Lowell. Wow. Lost her leg in an accident. And then, you know, it didn't stop her for a second. Like she was back on the field within a few months with a prosthetic. You know, and now she's a Paralympian, you know, runner, and she's working on snowboarding in the Paralympics as well. You know,
that's very cool.
And it didn't even. She finished school on time. This happened over a summer break, I think after her and a freshman year, right? And finished school on time, was back on the field. Like the unwavering determination that so many people have, I think is just awesome.
That's very cool.
I think it comes down to, like, on our podcast, what we say is that, you know, we have conversations that encourage the discipline of purposeful thinking, right, for a better life, right? So it's
Great way to put it.
there's people
learning
that are
how to think.
learning how to think. People are like, oh, I know how to think.
And have you really thought about that?
Well, yeah, because the thing is that
Have you thought?
Yeah.
there's mental activity, right? Yeah. And it's just mental activities, and all of it is habitual. You start to think about it. Most of the things that we do all day is habitual. You're not thinking about it. You don't think about brushing your teeth. You don't think about driving a car. You're doing so. When you first drive a car, you're freaking out.
Right.
After a while, you brush your teeth, shaving, you're driving the car. Why? Because it's all habitual.
Yep.
It's not thinking, right? So, but when you stop to think on purpose, that's when you can sit down with a pen and a paper quietly. I don't care if you're in your house or if you pick a coffee shop that's not a local one so that no one's bothering you, and you sit there and you just start to put on paper, what do I really want? What do I really want to do with myself? That's when you're purposely thinking about your life, because if you take a look, are you really doing what you want to be doing right now?
Right.
And when you hit people with that question, some of them, like, not to be too dramatic, but I've seen people cry. Like, oh my God, I've been wasting my time.
I bet.
I've been wasting my time. I've been this for this amount of years, and I really wanted to do that. And why haven't you done it? I don't know. And it's just been habitual thinking. They habitually got to where they are. So then it takes the discipline that we're talking about, right? Success principles. To be able to start studying those, to get all that mental junk, and it's years of mental junk, mental programming, delete it, and start to insert things that work into your hard drive.
Yeah,
really, that's what it comes down to.
What do you think the first steps are to doing that?
The first step is to, like I just said, sit down quietly.
Yeah. Oh, just
and
start
ask
there.
yourself, what do I really want?
Yep.
Because you know what? You can do whatever you want, right? Remember, now I can't remember his name, the Celtics guy that screamed, anything is possible. Kevin Garnett.
Yep.
Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. That's who you should be. Anything is possible. If you see someone doing something, you can do that. If that's what vibrates with you and that you want to do it, go and do it. What's stopping you from doing it? And then people start with excuses. Well,
you know what stops
I'm married,
themselves.
This, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what is that, right? You're your worst problem, and you're your only solution. Right? You're the problem, but you're the solution. It's what you choose to be in your life.
Yep.
Right.
Someone actually said to me this morning, and it's funny you said that. It's very similar to what my trainer over at the gym said to me this morning. He was talking about something that he read, and it was something along. You guys may know the quote. You may have heard it. There are no problems. What was it? There's no bad solution to a problem. It's only the solution you choose to accept, or something along that line.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, I mean, you can decide the outcome of anything, and it's all in how you look at it, right? Like, I'm a big proponent of that book, The Secret. Have you read it? Right? So I've read The Secret like 10 times. I read it like once
That's
or
a
twice.
great book.
Just as like a mental refresher.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all in the way you approach things, right? Mindset. If you guys are talking mindset, and that's what you're trying to help people shift, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all about what you think.
For us,
it's
been enlightening because we have heard the stories of people saying thank you. There's something that's clicking inside of me because of what you folks are saying on your podcast. Really, that's the best thing to see. You know, the fact that we're talking
Great as that.
things that we're
crazy.
studying
You don't
or
know
Michael's
who's listening.
studying, and people are like, thank you. That is so gratifying because really that's the purpose. The purpose is to say to you, hey, whatever's happening inside your mind, start today and just get it going. What do you want to do with yourself? That's really the key question. Some people don't know it, but you'll find it. you just apply yourself
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
And think about it. What do you want to do and why?
Yeah.
You know?
Why is the second
Everybody
important
talks
question?
about why.
Yeah.
And, it's like you can say, oh, I want to make some money. Okay. Well, why? Once you really dig into the whys behind things, then you actually find, like you said, purpose, right? More purpose in it, and then you'll act on it. And I think you're right. What you said in the beginning was spot on. I forget exactly, said something about the mindful thinking and being productive. I forget the line used, but it was spot on. And so many people don't take those 5 steps backwards. They're just like living their lives.
Right.
I
want to take this opportunity to say, you mentioned The Secret.
Yeah.
And Bob Proctor was my personal mentor for
You knew Bob?
For over 12 years. And I just wanted to say that he passed away a week ago.
I know, I saw that.
But the man was amazing. He was so giving. Everything that we're talking about right now, what we're talking about, he was that. So the important part is to go in with the right intention. Like Mike Comerford, I know for a fact, because the years that I've seen you grow, that the reason that you're so successful is because you're always giving back. You're not afraid to give. Why? Because you know that giving is receiving.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand that. So there's a lot of people that get cliquey and they think that I'm so successful, but I'm not going to share how I got successful.
No, that's not the way it works.
That's where you get stuck, right? So, but the successful people know that I get successful and then I'm going to give.
Yep.
And then I'm going to keep receiving. And the more I give, I keep receiving. And when you receive, it's 7 times more, 10 times more than what you actually gave. So, I just want to say that Bob was teaching us that over and over.
Absolutely.
And it trickled over into our podcast, and he was just an amazing person.
Yeah, no doubt. Rest in peace, Bob. I did see that he passed away, and I didn't know that you guys knew him personally.
Mike met him personally.
Yeah.
I've learned about Bob through Mike. And so some of the disciplines and some of the readings that we've shared, and I can see his vision and his ability to give so much to so many people. It's interesting because you get to see that now on social media. So many people that were touched by this gentleman. So I totally get it. He was an awesome person.
Yeah, he really was. And when you're talking about giving too, right? You receive when you give, but my philosophy is I'm not giving to receive. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm giving to give. You know what I mean? Whether it's through charity, helping people that I work with, helping clients, helping employees, helping friends, and then things just come full circle.
Right.
You know what I mean? You put out positive vibes into the universe and positive energy, it comes back around.
Absolutely. It's the law of circulation.
Yep.
And you're giving, right? You're not giving to receive, but you're giving. There's no doubt that you're going to receive.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why you really give. There's no fear in giving.
No.
Well, just to go back, the feeling that you have when you give
Feels great.
feels great.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do. I mean, anything that you do in life, when you give, there's something inside of you that says, wow, that feels great.
Yep.
And so you're opening your heart to receiving without even saying, oh, well, I'm giving to receive. It's just something that comes naturally.
Yep.
If you give it with intention.
Yeah.
And we can clarify that just a little bit more.
Yeah.
What you're giving is a feeling. People say, well, I'm giving something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you a gift.
Yep.
And it's not the gift that counts. It's the feeling that you get when I gave you the gift,
Yeah.
whether it's $1 million or whether it's just a bottle of champagne.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Or just some advice or wisdom or anything.
Right. So you're giving
for
that
us,
feeling.
in our industry, it's the information and the time that we take to provide the information so that people can make conscious decisions.
Right. And
Really, that's
the
what it
feeling
down
comes
to.
back.
And the feeling comes back.
Right.
The feeling comes back. So that's what you're really receiving. So however that feeling comes back 10 times over, what that means to you, it could be $1 million, or it could be a bottle of champagne, or it could be the same thing. But whatever it is that's going to, be equal to the feeling that you gave out, it's going to be that plus 10 times over. So that's what makes a person successful. And it's not about things.
Yep.
You know?
No, it's never about things, right? Like, and I would even say, like, most people that I know that are super successful, it's not, and they may end up wealthy with money and things in the end, but it's never about that. You know what I mean? It's never been about that for me from the beginning. You know what I mean? I look back on like my whys and things like that, and you guys, I'm sure you can share the same. But like growing up, I grew up like single mom, not a whole lot. You know what I mean? She worked super hard to provide for us, and so from a young age, my why was like, I want to be able to provide for her when I get older. I want to be able to provide for my kids and show them a different life and have these things.
That propelled you.
That was always my why, right? And because of that, it's like I was always just focused and determined, and I am to this day. You know what I mean? What's always been the why for you guys?
For me, it's been family.
Yeah.
My girls, Denise, my wife, who's amazing. That's my purpose, and that's my why. How do we make life better for others, and in return for us? And really, that's really been the key.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. How about you, Mike?
I want to say it's the same thing. It's just I can remember since little. Not that I have all the answers, because it's not the way it works, but I've always wanted to give back in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I've always been that. And I'm not going to say that I was living that way, because I've had my times in my life where I was, let me set it straight first. I've always had a feeling that good should win.
Yes.
Good should win. It should be that you're doing things with good intentions all the time.
Yep.
And now I'm going to go back to what I said before. It doesn't mean I was applying that always in my life. There was times in my life when I was
not always.
I've done stuff, growing up, but then I took a turn somewhere in my younger years, and here I am.
Yeah, but you made a decision.
I made a decision, but it's based on that. You could have decided
to stay in those situations, and I think we all have had our situations when we were younger. But there was a decision to be made. And so we understood that the decision that we were going to make is to do good.
Right.
And the more good you do, the more it comes
part.
back to you.
Yeah.
Also learning from that too, right? Like no experience is bad or a failure or whatever it may be if you learn from it. Because of whatever experiences those were when you were younger, you shifted and took a different turn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I agree, 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like
this will be another podcast.
Yeah, that would be a whole other story. Yeah.
Thank God there were no cell phones and things when I was young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's a different world. You know, but you learn and adjust and shift, just like you do in anything in business and in your life. You make adjustments, and that's how you kind of get to a great result at the end.
I think the one thing that I take away from this whole experience in this human experience, which we have mentioned before, is the fact that you can make a shift immediately. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you decide today, you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And you leave everything behind,
right,
and you move forward. So there's never that, oh, I'm going to do it next year, or maybe my age, I can't get, no,
that's all the excuses. It's all just a story.
Yep.
We're all playing. It's amazing how life is, right? We're all playing in our own separate movies. So in my movie, I'm the star, right? I'm the hero. I'm the hero of my movie, and I'm the director, and I'm the writer. I'm everything. I fix my own lighting and all that. But you guys are my extras.
Right.
But in your movie, you're the hero. You're direct. It's amazing. And if you keep doing
feeling,
that over and
that's
over
an
again,
incredible
like, how
thought.
crazy
It really
is that,
is,
right?
yeah.
So, but it all works. Somehow this synergy, and it works. And how does that work? Because while I'm being the hero in my personal movie, when you come around, I'm there. I'm your extra, so I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's my job. My job in your movie is to help you.
Right.
So I'm here to help.
Right.
But then when it comes back to me, I have to direct my movie. I have to be I have to own up. I have to take full responsibility for this character that I'm playing. And speaking of that, how fast you can switch your story. I saw this movie the other day with Jim Carrey, which I never knew existed. Jim Carrey and the guy that plays Obi-Wan, the younger Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know his name.
I don't know.
I'm bad with that.
But they're two guys. They're like gay lovers.
Okay.
And Jim Carrey plays this con man. And to show you how fast you can switch your story, how fast you can just turn around and say, I'm not this person. I'm no longer playing this person. I'm going to play this person. This guy broke out of jail several times in a Texas penitentiary.
I don't think I've seen it.
He was making Governor Bush look like ridiculous, right?
Right.
And the way he would do it is he would escape. One time he escaped dressed as a woman, so he changed his story. I'm no longer this prisoner. I'm this woman. Yeah. I'm going to walk right out of this jail. And he did. And so he would go down to the court dressed as an attorney and go and fix files and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Walks into a building and becomes part of this investment firm, steals hundreds of thousands of dollars from them, walks away from that, and the whole movie was that. It was that guy showing you, hey, look, while I'm here becoming these 9, 10 characters, you're still at home doing the same thing you've been doing for 10 years straight with all these excuses and that you have saying, no, I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because of that. And this guy, meanwhile, is doing all this. Right? Not even his entire lifetime, just a short span of like whatever it was. that goes to show you, you can change your story. It's the time when you sit down quietly and say, what do I really want? Do I want to be, whatever it is? Do I want to be an investment banker? Do I want to be a loan officer? Do I make a great cup of coffee that people would enjoy?
Yep.
Do I want to go work at a coffee place? Fine. If that's what makes you successful, if that's what makes you vibrate high and feel good, and you feel that that's how you're going to give back to the next person's story, go do that.
Yeah.
It's finding your purpose.
Yeah, you got to find your purpose.
It's digging within, asking those questions, putting yourself on the spot internally and saying, okay, what is it that I really want?
Yeah, I do that or something kind of similar. Every year around the beginning of the year, end or the beginning of the year, I'll write down 5 or 6 different things of where I'm at today and where I want to be 1 year from now. I do it in a number of different aspects. You know what I mean? Like, I remember this year, it was like, I owe this much on my house, and by next year I want it to be paid off. I have this, and I want that. I have this many employees now. I want the company to have this many next year. Like a whole bunch of things. And I do it every year, and every single year, and I think it's really just the act of writing it down. You know what I mean? Yeah. I write it down.
That's one of them.
And then it happens.
Yeah. But you're creating action after that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're taking action, because you can write everything down, know what you want, but you have to take action.
Yep.
So if you don't do that, it's just not going to come to you.
Yeah.
You are doing stuff on a yearly basis to get to that, what you wrote that day.
Yeah.
And you look back and say, it's working, but why? I took action on the stuff that I'm almost committed to it. You're like, you know what? If it's here, I'm committed to it. I'm not going to fool myself. It's what I said on paper. I got to get it done.
Yep. I'm a big fan, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. After you write those things down, sharing it with somebody so that
that would be accountability.
Yeah, so you're some type of an accountability partner.
That absolutely works.
And I've always been a big fan of that. It's like, all right, if you're telling somebody else, then you have to really live up to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it comes down to these 4 basic principles that we always talk about, right? It's imagination, faith, gratitude, and action. So with that imagination, you're using your visualization. So you're looking down, you're writing it down, you're seeing, you're looking at your goal. The goal is something that's in the screen of your own mind. No one else can see that, right? Mm-hmm. So we call that the unseen. Okay. It's the screen of your mind. So now you have to convince yourself that this is true. That's where the faith comes in. You have to believe it 100%. So when you write it down, you're actually putting a spell on yourself, because you're actually spelling out the words. You're putting a spell on yourself looking at this. And then when you do affirmations, what are you doing? You're writing them in repetition, right? Yep. Space-time repetition over and over. This thing, you start to believe it. It's mental programming, because you've been doing that to yourself in other things, in other areas of your life. But now you're purposely thinking and doing this on purpose. So you're using your imagination. You're having faith, 100% faith and belief in what you're about to do. The third thing is you have to have gratitude. You have to be grateful for everything, right? Gratitude lets you accept things as they are, no matter what's happening. So you're the cool, calm guy all the time, because you're grateful for everything.
I am.
Right? Yeah. You're accepting things as they are. Well, everybody's freaking out. What are you going to do? Just relax.
Yeah, it's cool.
And you're never thinking of the how.
Yeah, because and then the last thing would be the action.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like 95% mindset, 5% action. As long as you're moving forward towards your goal's moving towards you.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part.
Yeah. I mean, I think gratitude is huge. Have you ever read, and that, what you just laid out there is spot on. To be successful, that's exactly what you need to do. And I like the faith part, I like the gratitude part, and of course, taking action. But I talk all the time about having complete blind faith in yourself once you figure out what the activities are that you need to do to be successful.
Right.
Figure out what they are and just do them.
That's right.
Every day. We're talking about gratitude. Have you ever read any of Og Mandino's books?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We have a plaque in our podcast room. It's Og Mandino's 10 Laws.
Yeah. So one of them, it was a bunch of years ago, so I don't remember exactly which book it was. But every day for, I think, 30 days, you get up and you write, I think it was 10 things you're grateful for. Right? Well, what starts to happen, you start with the big things. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my, this. But like as you get to like day 2 and 3, you're like, okay, then you're really thinking, right? Because you rip through all the things, the big things you're grateful for. And I remember being like, all right, I'm grateful for my socks. Yeah. I'm grateful for my feet. I'm grateful
for the air.
I'm grateful for the air. I'm grateful for being able to hear so that I can hear the birds.
Water.
You know what I mean? Water.
Yeah. People don't have water.
You go through it, and then you start thinking about it, and it's wild. And then what that does for you is people will be bitching about something, right? Oh, I got to go do this. It's like, no, you get to go do that. What do you mean you have to go? I didn't want to go to the gym today.
Right.
You got 2 legs, 2 arms, you're healthy, you can go to the gym. That's great.
think the biggest thing is life is not promised.
No.
You have to go at it every day.
You never know.
On it. Work on yourself and keep moving.
Yeah. I didn't know we had so much in common as far as like the books and I know we like mindset and the way we approach things, but a lot of the people that I've read and listened to for years, it sounds like you guys are in the same circle.
They shared.
Well,
that's what they did. They
success
shared
leaves clues.
Yeah.
Right. They shared their successes and the way they did it.
Yeah.
In a different way, in different formats, depending on who you read. And it's just really gratifying to read these things and say, you know what, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It changes your mindset.
Yeah. It does.
You know what's crazy? So these books have been around for hundreds of years.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds. You go back to the Bible and even before that. So it's like thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
So all the success leaves clues, right? And then people write books like, so there's some people that read Think and Grow Rich. Mm-hmm. And then there's some people that say, well, I don't like Think and Grow Rich because it's outdated. But then someone else writes a new book and like, well, that's just Think and Grow Rich. No, it's not. It's the basic success principles through thousands of years, but now it's through the eyes of someone else because maybe that person that just wrote that book, you can resonate with that person because now they're talking your language, right? But there's always people, like you said, that don't look for the good in anything. So they're like, I don't want to read that book. It's like that book and I don't like that book. But these books that we're talking about leave clues for success. Yep. It's just written for us to be successful. Yeah, we're born to be successful.
Absolutely. We're given all these, we're given all the ability in the world. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want, no matter where you come from or where you start, And talking about the books and things, it's like, yeah, you may not completely, be completely in line with everything that a certain author or podcaster or whoever is saying, but I'm always open to it. Right. So I'll listen to it, and it's like, oh, you know what? I did pull a few good things out of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's because I'm not going into it being like, oh, I don't agree with that guy. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, let's just hear it.
Well, you also understand that you've read and heard things regardless of who they were, and those things resonated. And so every time it resonates, you're like, I want to hear more.
Yeah.
I want to know more. And so you start living a world of purpose to say, I want to find out more so that it helps me and that can help someone else. I mean, start your story today. Really what it comes down to. A lot of people who are like, no, start your story today and run with it.
That's it.
Right.
And
look for the good in everything, like you're saying. Everything. That's what makes a good leader. Yeah. You're looking for the good in everything. So you're not bothering with, when people would come, to us, I say people, I say agents, with problems, it's you don't focus on their problems. You're right away thinking, all right, so how are we going to solve this in your own mind while they're, people are freaking out. That's what makes a good leader, is just continuously being grateful so that you can focus on the good things.
Become a solution master.
A solution master.
Always.
And I want to say that also that this it's so important for us to teach our kids this, because I'll be honest with you, I know Will too, his background, but we didn't stand a chance. Right?
No.
Because when you're born with an open mind, right? Your conscious mind is made to make decisions. This is where you start to say, do I like this? Do I don't like this? This is where you consciously accept or reject things, right? As a baby, you can't do that. Nope. So your environment, what's happening in your household, what your teachers are teaching you, what your siblings are teaching you, what the media that blasts you with 3,000 ads a day are teaching you, all that goes in. And these kids grow up, and so by the time they're from their newborns to the age of 7, they're saturated. This stuff, that little capsule of things, ends up showing up when you're 20, 30, 40. 50. You hold on to that. Right. It's programming. And the rest of your life right now is based on that mental program that happened when you were from 1 to 7. Believe it or not, it's nuts, right? So it's up to us to go back and say, all right, I have to delete some of this stuff.
Right.
And I have to start inserting things that really work. Yeah. And this is where the success comes in, right? I want to take this second, and Will doesn't know this, but because we haven't even mentioned it in our podcast. He does know this, but I'm going to mention it here, that I did write a book. And I wrote it for children for that, for that purpose.
Yep.
Because we deserve a second chance.
Absolutely.
We deserve a better chance, I should say, to start telling all this success stuff that we talk about. Why do we wait till we're like loan officers and realtors?
Wait till we're like in our 30s to really figure it out.
Okay, now I'm
against the wall, like, oh my God.
Now I'm wearing this hat. I'm going to do it now.
Right.
No, you have to start.
Why are they so successful and I'm not? Well, we're telling you why. Right. Because, you have to learn that you're consciously making decisions here. And once they get past here, they go in here. Mm-hmm. And once they're in here, it's a mental program.
Yep.
And you're doing things habitually you don't even know you're doing.
So we have another book to read now?
It's
I
a
wanna
book.
read it.
It could be from 1 to 99. It's really for children 9 to 13, and but I just wanted to mention that because, and I do it. It's based on Froggy's characters.
Yep.
You know Froggy's.
Yep.
My wife owns Froggy's.
Yep.
And it's to really give Froggy friends, but at the same time because it's based on creatures,
Okay.
right? But they're teaching each other success principles.
That's awesome. Where can we get it?
Well, no, I wrote it, but I'm in the process of ready to do the launch, so I'm not
Okay.
going to say much more.
All right,
I just
all right,
wanted to put it out there.
Well, that sounds
It's
awesome,
a feeler.
Michael. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
But the reason I wanted to really mention it because it's so important for anybody that's listening to this right now. All these things that you learn to go back and give it to your children.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, we don't.
No, sometimes we don't.
Trust me, I've had 2 sets of kids. And the first set, I started having kids when I was a teenager, straight out of high school.
Yeah.
So I grew up with these guys.
Right.
So if you see us, it's like you think we're brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they went through all that crap that I told you, the other side of it, with me until I started realizing, wait, there's something more to this. And then I went to the side that was always telling me, listen, you really come from a good foundation. You really have to go out there and do better, right? So now I have these 3 boys that are now making this transformation, but I have the 2 that are like sponges, and Will knows because they're 2 characters. They put us in our place sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They listen to everything that we're doing. Well, you said this.
Well, it's funny thing is that they make fun of us.
Yeah.
So they get in the podcast room and they say, and Michaela, his youngest, says, "You be Daddy and I be Will."
Yeah.
And they just start going at it, and it's funny.
That's gotta be like
it's
so
funny
funny
to see that because they're exposed to it. It's not something that we do when they're not there. No, we want to expose them to the things that we believe and we do because it helps them make decisions in the future.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a reprogramming of their minds because they're already exposed to it.
Well, I would, make the argument that with them just growing up around you, you don't have to teach them. They're just seeing that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
they're just seeing it from people like you guys, and
that's
you
true.
know, we're not always perfect, right?
No.
But one thing, and I don't know if this is kind of what you were saying, but in the beginning, like from 1 to 7, shit can be difficult for some kids. You know what I mean?
For many.
For many. You know what I mean? It was for me, But I think we need to teach children that they always have the opportunity to do whatever they want. And that's one thing my mom always told me. You know what I mean? Even when I was a little kid, I mean, many parents say this, but you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can really do whatever you want with yourself. And
whenever you want.
And I always just believed it. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I believe you,
Yeah, you looked up and you're like,
yeah,
she makes sense.
Yeah, and we need more people telling children that. Rather than telling them what they can do, they can't do. Like, no, you do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Find things you like to do and do those. Do things that make you happy. Do things that make you think. And I think I'm very happy you brought that up. It's a good point that I think people just kind of forget about sometimes.
It's the key because it's if all right. So they're getting at home, right? Sorry, I think I keep hitting this thing and I'm interrupting the podcast.
No, don't worry about it.
It's the key because you're feeding them, right? But then they're gonna go out your door, and they're getting hit with the 3,000 ads.
Yep.
They're gonna get hit with the friends that might be negative. They don't really. So that's why you have to tell them the old adage, right? Our grandparents used to say it: "Show me who you're hanging with, and I'll show you who you are." Right? So it's the 5 people that you're hanging around with.
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
That
and then you look at it and you're like,
you're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang out with, and it's a fact. All these things become cliche, and so it goes, yeah, right. Until you start realizing, this stuff is true.
Well, all those old sayings are 100% accurate. You know what I mean?
We just were too busy not to listen to them.
When you're kids, it's like, and whoops, I wish we could like say to these kids, like, no, really, we're right. You know what I mean? Like, believe it. It's true. I didn't believe it either. I say it to my oldest son all the time. I'm like, hey, buddy, listen, I didn't believe what people were telling me when I was 16 years old either. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, and it's right. You know what I mean? Do this, do that, and it's one of those things where when kids are teenagers, they think they know everything, just like we thought we knew everything.
Right.
And we really don't know a goddamn thing at that age.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And
it's interesting for us because we have older kids. We start to see and understand and hear from them.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the things that we keep implying.
Yeah. That's
about,
going to be
hey,
awesome.
start here, start now.
Because the foundation is there.
Right.
So even if they make all those mistakes, even they take they'll go and take risks, and then eventually they come back and go, my God, you were right.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing in my oldest son how he's getting really, really confident. He plays football, right? And now he's like incredibly confident. He's like, Dad, I get up, I line up on the line, and I don't care how big that guy is on the other side. I'm gonna run right through him. I tell him that stuff all the time, because I've been saying this whole life. I'm like, hey, I can do this. Watch, I'm gonna do this. Watch, I'm gonna do that. And he'd be like, how? I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. You know. And even like, I was saying that we opened that office up in Bedford. I've been saying it since I went and I looked at the space. I'm like, oh, we're gonna take this town over. You know what I mean? And I'm determined. You know. And because of like that unwavering confidence in myself, and I'm so happy to see that I've taught them that. You know what I mean? To have that same feeling.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
To see it.
It's contagious.
It's contagious.
Really good.
And when you see that you've done something, to have a positive impact on your children and the way they approach things, nothing better than that.
Right.
One question I want to ask you guys that I was thinking about when you were talking before, because I just kind of got into it. Do you guys do any meditation at all? Yeah?
That's the first thing every morning.
Yeah.
So I do get up at 4:30, but it gives me the advantage to do other things before anybody gets up. That's how you can write a book, and that's how you can get disciplined enough to open it up in an office. And you know what I mean? All these things that you're able to do because you're doing it while everybody's sleeping. It's the most sacred time. But the first thing I do is I get up, open my eyes, and I go right to my meditation spot. It's a chair. I sit in it. I meditate 15, 20 minutes.
Well, that's a long meditation. That's pretty good.
And I also do a second one, which is not as long, but it's just to readjust myself during the day. And all I'm doing is going into stillness to just be still.
Yep. Do any type of, is it a guided meditation or is it just silent meditation for yourself?
Silent meditation, yeah.
Yep. How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing that forever.
Long time?
A long time, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Will, do you do any meditation?
I do. I learned it from Michael, and really the purpose for me is to quiet the noise and understand what my purpose is that day.
Yep.
And kind of focus on the day and be grateful for the things that are surrounded me. It's an awesome moment. Now, for everyone, it could be different. There's times where I like to meditate to some music.
Yep.
There's others who like to meditate in the dark. It really depends what you feel works for you. There's really no true way of meditation. I think the word meditation, some people get discouraged about it.
Right.
Because I can't sit in this position and close my eyes. Just stop the noise, listen to the silence, and everything else comes into place.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading up. I've been kind of messing around with meditation for a few years, and I'll do it for a while, and then I won't. And I'll do it for a while, and then I won't. But I really want to form a discipline and do it, every single day, like you're saying. One thing I did read, which I really like the way this was put, was don't get discouraged or intimidated by meditation, right? Because there's no being perfect at it. It's like yoga. I don't know if you guys do any yoga at all, but it's like yoga where it's like you don't have to be perfect at it. It's just the act of doing it,
Right.
At the moment while you're there.
Right, and just enjoy it and get into it. I've been doing some of the guided, like with the apps, like some of the guided meditation. I did one last week. I go to this business coach / life coach woman up in Bedford, and she's big into meditation. And she said, why don't we take like 20 minutes in this session and just do a guided meditation, right? Which actually, she didn't say the time frame. She said, let's just do a guided meditation. And I'm like, okay, let's do it, right? So I sat there and she started walking me through. She did I don't know if you ever done like any of the, like a body scan where someone will start at your head and they say, feel everything through your forehead and your eyes and your nose and all the way through.
MRI?
Yeah, essentially, right? A mental MRI.
Mental MRI.
And so we're going through it. And before I know it, she said, okay, Mike, let's, whatever, like open your eyes. And I said, wow, Deb, that was incredible. What was that? Maybe 2-3 minutes? She said, no, it was 20 minutes. And I had the most unbelievable experience in that 20 minutes. I was like, I said to her, I'm like, I feel like I was like hallucinating. I was like seeing things, but like it was like, I sound crazy. I'm going to be
No.
I'm gonna be,
not to
I
us.
love it.
I'm going to be crazy for a minute.
Not to
I
us.
love it. Not to us.
I was seeing like a reverse like waterfall and it was all blue and I was seeing all these like beautiful things and I described to her after. I'm like, I felt like I was like a head with no body. Like I felt nothing that whole time. And I was just so focused on what my mind was seeing. I came out of that 20 minutes of meditation with her and I felt so alive, and I felt like refreshed.
It creates clarity.
I'm like, man, that was unbelievable.
It creates clarity. I mean, you'd be surprised. Those things exist and they happen.
Yeah.
And so you're at a moment where nothing matters.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. You allow your body and your mind to say, I'm here. Whatever's going to happen, whatever my mind brings, because I'm here. I'm intending to be here and nothing else. And so that's what meditation does for me. And it's not even sometimes at 4:30 or 5. I get up at 5 as well. I could be in the car and I've just finished an appointment and I say, you know what, I'm going to shut off my phone for just 10 minutes. And I sit in the car and just look forward, and that's it. I don't close my eyes, but I just find a moment to myself, which creates clarity. It could be my next 10 appointments. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get through these appointments today. I'm tired, or whatever the case may be, or there's a lot happening. I got to create solutions. Those 10 minutes help me say, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let me just move forward.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important. You know, so you're giving yourself you're actually giving your brain a rest.
Right. Meditation is for that. So they say, like, if you read all these books going back, like what we said thousands of years, is order is heaven's first law. So when you get up in the morning, what you're looking is for order. If you don't have order in your life, right? So if you don't stop, what do I really want? And take it from there and start from there, that's the order that you want. Then you have chaos. All you have is mental noise and all these distractions going on, right? So the meditation is meant to take the distractions away so you can be the person that you want to be. You wake up first thing in the morning, what you're looking for is for guidance, inner guidance, your intuition, right? That instinct that you have that tells you, take a left, take a right, do this, and it just, everything turns out right. You don't know the how, right? That you said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know it's going to happen. Yeah. So what you're doing in the morning with meditation, you mix it with your prayers if you want, visualization, which is important, and then you meditate, you're in silence. In that silence, you're setting up your life to be exactly how you want it to be. This is where you're the director. You picture your house how you want it to be. What I wanted in another bathroom, I'm going to picture that. What I wanted the day to go this way, I'm going to picture that. What I don't want to drive this car, I want to drive that car, I'm going to picture that. So you're just picturing all these things. You're visualizing these things. Then you're letting it go because you don't know how it's going to happen. And then you're going to say, I just want guidance. And then you go out the door.
This stuff works.
You know, I know it does. I know it does.
Yeah. So you couple that with writing things down and all these things that we're talking about and just studying success principles and then acting them out. Right. But it starts with the order. Order comes first.
Yeah. And even like, I feel great having this conversation because we're sharing it with people. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about giving, right? This is what so many people need to know. That's why, like, when after we're done this and Ed, edits the whole thing, I love it when he cuts up little pieces of it, right, and puts it out on Facebook, Instagram, so people are like, oh wow, that sounds interesting. And then they listen to this great conversation we have of you guys sharing all these awesome principles. Like I learned so much from just having this conversation today.
We all learned so much,
And if we could make a segue real quick, Speaking of visualization. We have a workshop coming up, the Vibe You're In. And it's going to be Saturday, the 26th.
The 26th.
From 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
The flyers are going out today. The information's going out today.
Okay.
You can find it at the Vibe You're In on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's really, top tips on how to build an effective and powerful visual, what do you call it?
A vision board.
Vision board. I was going to say visual. Vision board. So it's really the vision board experience.
Yeah,
I've shared this information with some people who've never done a vision board.
It's so important,
and they're fascinated by the fact that hey, it's an opportunity for you to put the things that you really want, or that feeling that you've had at a certain moment in your life. You want to continue to have that feeling. You're putting it in a board, and you're visualizing these things come to you.
Yeah,
and so we're excited about it. It's our second event.
Right.
For the Vibe You're In, and it's a collaboration with the Olivares and Molina team. Yep. Denise is involved as well. Actually, she's the headmaster on this one.
Yeah, she's going to be doing the actual vision board. We're going to be talking about visualizing, which is one of the important principles of success. You have to be able to visualize what you want when you're setting goals. If you can't visualize your goal, you're not going anywhere.
You're not going to do anything.
Right.
You're not going anywhere. If you can't write down some bullets on strategy, which before the strategy comes a committed decision to even make it happen. But once that committed decision is there, you have to start strategizing, put some bullets down.
Yeah.
Step 1.
How you gonna do it?
Step 2, the framework, right? And then part of that is visualizing. You have to visualize what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Visualize it and then believe that you can do it.
Exactly.
The
100%.
faith. The faith, believe in it.
Get rid of the fear.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So you guys are motivational speakers, inspirers, all these other things that I didn't say in the beginning. You're also successful real estate agents. Little bit before we wrap up, tell people, what they should know about real estate right now, where they can find you, how you can help them, all that good stuff.
You can always find me at 978. Can I say my number?
You can absolutely say your number.
I live in 603, but I have a 978 number, just so you know.
Me too.
978-423-9697. I am Michael Santana. And you can find us on our podcast at The Vibe You're In.
At The Vibe You're In?
Yep.
For our team, you can find us on Google, the Olivares and Molina team, on Instagram, on Facebook. There's a lot of information. It'll all take you into our website. You can book an appointment with us.
Awesome.
Check us out. We love to share our experiences. We love to share our knowledge of the market in today's world, whether it's here locally or globally. We do have a lot of connections with different companies and different people that have the mindset that we do as far as helping others. And so, we just love what we do. I mean, it's easier to live life when you love what you do.
Yeah, and if you guys that are watching, listening can't tell, I'm sure if you worked with either one of these guys and your teams and your families, your companies, you'll get a different experience than you will with just a real estate agent that wants it just about a transaction or making some money.
Very grateful. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like you can tell working with certain people what you'll get. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here.
This is a big honor.
This was incredible. Yeah. I mean, it was one of the best conversations I've ever had. I'll be honest with you. Can't wait to be on your podcast.
Yes, that's coming up.
That'll be fun. And this was awesome. This was awesome. I can't wait to, spend more time with you guys, learn from you guys, keep talking. I mean, I've known you both for over a decade probably, and today I got to know you, much more, and I'm pumped about where the relationship can go from here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The Mic Drop.
Subscribe to success.